Good morning, this is Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncover No More. It's actually formerly, but you never quite stop being who you are, do you? And who I was a hot mess. When you're a parent, that means everybody else becomes a hot mess with you. And there's no way out of that hell. For me, anyway. For a poet, and I'm evolved. I've written commentary, I've written allegory. I'm reading an allegory by Stephen Vincent Benet right now that is it's just made me laugh out loud. I tell you what, it's a triumph in this day and age when you laugh at something that's not on the television or social media or something. It's pure gold. And despite the pain in my life the past few days, I was doing some work with Oracle in Calendar of the Soul, which I will probably record for that as well. But that's going to go on my main YouTube, which is being completely cleaned out except for philosophy and some poetry and things like that. But it's going to be what I will allow Rudolf Steiner to be my guide this morning, occultic science. It's occultic science. My other YouTube is pure poetry, and this morning we're going to allow Adrienne to lead us out of a deep hell Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncover No More could not release herself from. Basically, in my case, there were some people around me, and my parents are gone now, so because they were some of the people. They could never, ever come to grips with the fact that there is a lot of beautiful spirituality in the world, and it's not sin. They were never able to meet me even halfway with that. There's very real discrimination against any spirituality that is not Protestant or Catholic. Come to think of it, Buddhists, they have their monks, see, and you have to live a specific way to be a part of that paradigm. So really, those of us that are like me, we can dwell in any paradigm and see the beauty, but it is a treacherous mountain that we walk the tightrope upon, between mountains of different ways of living. Even the lifestyle of a beggar is a mountain of triumphs and tragedies. So Stephen Vincent Benet's The Curfew Tools, I was laughing out loud, but it taught me something, and I'm going to share that with my partner later today, because I keep saying I'm a recluse, but actually what I need is sabbaticals, and I'm on day one of a 3-day sabbatical today, because I went through a tremendous chasm of difficulty yet again. And when my PTSD symptoms raise their ugly head, the whole family falls apart. And that's been true my whole life with children. And so I am to blame in their minds. And it just is not that simple. It's just not that simple, sweethearts. And someday we will all see, but I already do, the beauty, and I've told that people over and over, not even just my children, I see this. See, we're going to a place of heaven, but the tragedies are real in our lives. And so the balancing forces, it's going to take another sacrifice from people like me. I'm okay. Going to be seeing my therapist every 3 weeks for a while for just two purposes. Number one, hold me accountable to go into a certain amount of seclusion, literal seclusion, pretty much every day, unless I'm doing my work, as in philosophy, poetry, and everything. And it's out, away from the house. There's having to be some commitments made about conversations, because I am extremely powerful, and I know when you're talking about me and my problems. I know when you're talking about things that we really can't talk about anymore. There is no solving the wickedness, just spewing out of the very atmosphere. It's a volcano. There's many of them. China alone's got, I don't know how many volcanoes are just spewing out the past history, and it's hot. It's a hot mess. Well, these 50 states, it's a historical hot mess that I don't think people understand how deep and wide it goes, and mental health is destroyed in the process. We have some triumphs, but the tragedies are greater. Let me say that again. We have some triumphs, but the tragedies are greater. That's just the fact of the matter. In my case, I can have no Christianity in what I study. They can be Christians themselves, like Carl Jung. I cannot, because I didn't tell anybody, but I literally 2 to 3 days ago, someone looked at me in the eyes close up, and they know how to take virtue, but they never acknowledge it. So I've been drained over and over again for years, and I resurrect myself. Well, it needs to be more distinct, because I've got work to do as well. And when you have people around you that denigrate your work, it's unimportant, and it stays unimportant. And I'm very, very insecure. And that's why I'm going to go to a therapist every 3 weeks, because I need to be on a schedule, and I need to not listen that my work is unimportant. And I need to do the work. My work is not so much my own original materials, though I have done that work, and it is very draining with this kind of society that I've been pulled out of. But bringing the true wisdom of the past, and Adrienne Rich is so necessary, like Rudolf Steiner and Carl Jung, in our societies for mental health, spiritual health, physical health, all three. Two, actually. Mental and spiritual are the same thing to me, and I am dealing with people who think of a triune God, no goddess intact, and that we're a 3-part person, which is completely bunk. We are 2-part people. What you can't see about us, the why of our tears that we wipe away from our face, the emotional, spiritual, metaphysical state of our beings, is something that nobody wants to deal with. It's better to medicate it, isn't it? And certainly that's there, but it's not a solution. Medication is not a solution, my loves. So, recluse, not so much. I'm not a reclusive person. However, understanding what I need to be expressing on blogs and everything is my next challenge. So I'm putting myself on a schedule and being accountable to a therapist. But the second thing is finances. I am completely destroyed. I have no self-confidence. I still am pushing myself to get a job, particularly in light of where our federal government is. I'm always worried about the well-being of my family, of course. And I can't get those demons out of my head. Be that as it may, I'm going to learn to take sabbaticals. I'm on day 1 of 3. And then, yeah, I'm going to either be in places of ministry or in one room, hammering out my part of what I need to hammer out of the New Jerusalem. So that's where I am. And I'm going to surround myself with poetry because poetry is the answer philosophically. There's plenty of great poets to choose from. I distill it into what the New Jerusalem tribe Judah needs. And there are 12 tribes. So staying within Judah's boundaries is my boundary, my boundary. And I have so many people that would rather keep me as a mentally ill piece of shit that did this to me. No, I didn't. Particularly when you say it that way. We did this with each other. We are we. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired of that message now because people have disagreed with me for so long. And that is Protestantism in my case. I can have nothing. It's astounding to me how far gone this is. Again, I will repeat, in my particular case, I can take from Christians like Carl Jung, like Ralph H. Bloom. Oh, excuse me. Mr. Bloom must be here. I'm burning incense and candle. I can't see him today. My mind, I took NyQuil. Physical pain is very real in my life. I took NyQuil, and so my mind is operating on a frequency that is slower, and I tend to not be able to see the people that are actually with me. But when I start a candle and incense, they all come in, and I just choose who I'm going to engage with. And obviously, you just saw me unconsciously tell you that I'm engaging with Mr. Bloom and his wife. They're both here. Let me make an announcement about that before I read Adrienne Rich, who is our leader today, who's here, obviously, or, you know. I will no longer engage astrology. It is too much like Christianity. It's just rife with issues. But if I'm going to engage astrology, in other words, with discussions with people or taking a class with friends of mine, it's going to be Jungian primarily. It's going to have to be. Because I've got to devote myself to both Carl Jung and Rudolf Steiner. I'm learning so much. Rudolf Steiner's information is so deep. When I breathe my last, I will still go upstairs and take in his work. Carl Jung is the same way. Adrienne Rich, I'm finding out, is going to be the same way. Her stuff is well documented. She had 3 children in the paradigm I'm still needing deliverance from. And then she became a lesbian. And her work is beautiful. Where it is tricky with me, and no offense to anyone, is I cannot read about those kinds of things. I can read poetry that is universal. I have to stay away from anything that is not universal. And this is what Beaty-Coffey of the former Uncovered No More will tell you. And if you bring my past life in, my PTSD symptoms skyrocket. And all I had to do, it was a trap, actually. I've got people from my past Christian life at a particular coffee shop in Austin. I'm being tempted to mention it. I'm not going to do that because I have to deal with this issue everywhere I go. And it spun out. And I had people behaving in home in a very, very toxic way this week. And so it lends itself towards people tripping and going into their old paradigms to feel secure around me when you're not. You're going to have to, and this is in coffee shops as well. I've been trying for years to commit to a certain way, to settle down, and it's finally come. However, when I read in a big Wiccan book, you have to hide this completely, I knew I was in trouble because I'm not a hidden person. That's anathema to me. It's been forced on me though, and I guess that's a good thing, and that's why I'm going to the therapist, is to be held accountable, because I am a universalist. I share. That's the only thing I know to do. And I can't share anymore. I can't share with other people. I get taken advantage of, and then people slam me into my old paradigms because my PTSD symptoms are very real. I can explain them. People don't believe me because they have to be right. So it's their original sin hitting me. And that is not helpful at this time in my life. All right. So I guess my new paradigm is not care coffee talks too much, which is gone now. And I'm removing a whole bunch of my testimony. It's taking time. It doesn't hurt. It's a relief. I've had this before. When my publisher went out of business in January of 2017, when Donald Trump went into the White House the first time, I felt huge relief, but then had to learn to be who I am on blogs and everything, and not be affected by the mess that is our society. I'm not doing well there. It still controls me far too easily. So I'm going to be held accountable, but it's finances is my biggest weakness. It's my biggest weakness, and it was done to me. It's not my issue. It's the society's issue, and I can't handle it. So after we get some basic schedules for me as far as who I am with spiritually, and I continue to do my work, the second thing is to get me educated in our finances. Finally, after all these years, because that was, there's a reason that my Tara, there's a reason why I cannot touch finances. And I don't want to go into it, but I guess I better. But it's the superpower of finances, and I will either destroy or raise it up through people. Protestants know about that with very powerful people. And you are anathema and will go to hell. You will go to hell. You can call yourself after the name of Christ, but your way is toxic as hell because you are from hell. All right. Let's read Adrienne Rich and start over, shall we? This is going on Uncovered No More. If you'll notice, I'm automatically doing what I know to do, which is weave my private testimony. I'm still calling into repentance what I've always called into repentance. I haven't changed. But I have got to free will, command my home into a position where we strictly do not talk about the past. So I will confine myself. And again, I'm in a 3-day sabbatical. I don't even know how to do that. So Stephen Vincent Benet's story fantasy, I guess, is what he called it, is teaching me something that I need to learn. Long about August of 2024, this is from the Diamond Cutters. This is from the Diamond Cutters, which was written in 1955. This is portions of it. The main book that I'm reading is The Fact of a Door Frame, Poems Selected and New, 1950 to 1984, by Adrienne. I've already got a bunch of this up, but I'm going to read this one because I'm going into another section of this excellent book. And what I wrote here was, and now with as much deep love and peace, a fully rejected, I said, mother. My mother role is the one that is just breaking my heart that I have to walk off of. I can't. I was not a good mother, and I'll never believe anything else. Can choose. I live here in solidarity with my love of everyone. I must needs protest. And Adrienne Rich is going to be very strong for me because we are the women who live in protest, yet we love you so deep, you destroy us with it. The middle-aged. Their faces safe as an interior of Holland tiles and oriental carpet, where the fruit bowl always filled stood in a light of placid afternoon. Their voices measure, their figures moving in the Sunday garden to lay the tea outdoors or trim the borders, afflicted, haunted us. For to be young was always to live in other people's houses, whose peace, if we sought it, had been made by others, was ours at second hand, and not for long. The custom of the house, not ours, the sun fading the silver blue Fortuny curtains, the reminiscence of a Christmas party of 14 years ago, all memory, signs of possession and of being possessed. We tasted, tense with envy. They were so kind, would have given us anything. The bowl of fruit was filled for us. There was a room upstairs we must call ours. But 20 years of living they could not give, nor did they ever speak of the coarse stain on that polished balustrade, the crack in the study window, or the letters locked in a drawer and the key destroyed. All to be understood by us, returning, late, in our own time, how that peace was made, upon what terms, with how much left unsaid. Oh, everything was said around me all right, and it still has to be left. My letters are long gone and destroyed. Nobody wants to hear from Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncovered No More. I'm a hot mess. I began to encounter Necessities of Life, which is a part of her section from Necessities of Life, 1966, when I was born. So it is time for me to learn what I stepped into, and who better? There is none better. Who is even better than Adrienne Rich? There is none. That is not to say I shouldn't read others who were fully developed philosophers in 1966. It is not to say that. But if there's one thing that poetry does, it speaks to the soul of the metaphysical being. Philosophy speaks to the intellect. And if there is one thing that hates me, it's intellect. It hates me and demands debate. Demands it. I'm actively having to teach people. We need to agree with each other. It's both perspectives. And it blows their mind away that they cannot debate in the New Jerusalem. There's no debate. People become enraged when you remove debate. You have never heard the voice of the master, much less the king. If you need debate. So I've marked this 27th of June 2025, and I chose Thurisaz, the 21st rune, which is 7 times 3. And now here I am telling you I'm in a 3-day sabbatical, number 7. And I told my partner, for the people that are with me here, Mom keeps saying, you know, recluse, but it's actually, she's going to learn to take sabbaticals. Oh, for the day when I don't have to take a little something to simplify my mind because of flashback and PTSD symptoms, to where I'll sleep more and just rest, but also do my work. Oh, for the day I don't have to do that. That day may never come. That's the other thing I'm going to talk to my therapist about. I may have to have something of medication to stay away. Someone asked me the other day, why do you lock the door? So that I don't go downstairs. I don't understand how much a woman like me wants peace for us all. They don't appreciate that fact. People do not appreciate that fact. There is no other choice, is what I'm learning, but to remove yourself from it. Because what is not appreciated is where universalism is destroyed. So Thurisaz is gateway, and this is obviously for me, is the Magdala gateway. It's Trijuta elect. And Ralph H. Bloom, in the Book of Runes, for Thurisaz, this rune strengthens your ability to wait. So that's why I lock the door, confine myself. I just have to wait for these issues to solve themselves, because people are not solving the great drama of civil war. People are not solving it. And it's just the way it is. Necessities of Life by Adrienne. Piece by piece I seem to re-enter the world I first began as a starfall, point blank. A small fixed dot still see that old myself, a dark blue thumbtack. I actually just bought some and they're blue and white. That's sweet to me about my own life. Pushed into the scene, a hard little head protruding from the pointillist's buzz and bloom. After a time, the dot begins to ooze. Certain hearts melted. Now I was hurriedly blurring into ranges of burnt red, burning green. Whole biographies swam up and swallowed me like Jonah. Jonah, I was Wittgenstein, Mary Wollstonecraft, the soul of Louis Jouvet, dead in a blown-up photograph. Till, wolfed almost to shreds, I learned to make myself unappetizing. Scaly as a dry bulb, thrown into a cellar. I used myself. Let nothing use me. Like being on a private dole. Sometimes more like kneading bricks in Egypt. What life was there was mine. Now and again to lay one hand on a warm brick and touch the sun's ghost with economical joy. Now and again to name over the bare necessities. So much for those days. Soon, practice may make me middling perfect. I'll dare inhabit the world, trenchant in motion as an eel, solid as a cabbage head. I have invitations, a curl of mist steams upward, from a field visible as my breath. Houses along a road stand waiting, like old women knitting, breathless, to tell their tales. 1962. So true. I'm going to learn not to say, this is Beaty-Coffey of the Ministry of Uncovered No More. I do not thank you today, Western world, for destroying this universalist. I do not thank you today, but give me 10 years when I'm 70. I will thank you someday. But that doesn't change your sin. Goodbye, city. You demand to win. This is Beaty-Coffey.